Officer Miller was fresh out of the academy, badge gleaming, and eager to make a difference. Or, at least, eager to write some tickets and prove he wasn't just another rookie. He patrolled the quiet streets of Harmony Creek, a place where the biggest crime was usually Mrs. Gable's cat getting stuck in a tree. Still, Miller drove with purpose, scanning for any infraction, any opportunity to show his superiors he was ready for the real deal. He adjusted his mirrored sunglasses, a confident smirk playing on his lips. Today was going to be a good day. He just knew it. He imagined the commendation, the pat on the back. He was going to be the best officer Harmony Creek had ever seen. A block away, Mr. Thompson lovingly polished the chrome on his 1957 Chevy Bel Air. It was his pride and joy, a rolling testament to a bygone era. Each curve, each fin, held a memory. He'd bought it brand new after returning home from overseas. Now, decades later, the car was still pristine, a reflection of Mr. Thompson's own meticulous nature. He carefully backed out of his driveway, the engine purring like a contented cat. He was headed to the bakery for his usual Saturday morning treat, a glazed donut and a cup of black coffee. He drove slowly, enjoying the sunshine and the familiar route. That's when Officer Miller spotted him. Mr. Thompson's Bel Air, gleaming in the sunlight, was traveling a few miles under the speed limit. Bingo, Miller muttered to himself, a grin spreading across his face. He flipped on his lights and siren, the sudden noise startling a flock of pigeons from a nearby tree. Mr. Thompson, a little confused, gently pulled over to the side of the road. He wondered what he could have possibly done wrong. He always took such good care to follow the rules. He hoped it wasn't anything serious. Officer Miller approached the Bel Air, his sunglasses reflecting his own self-importance. He tapped on the driver's side window. Mr. Thompson rolled it down with a polite smile. "Good morning, officer," he said, his voice a little shaky. Miller leaned down, peering into the car. "License and registration, please," he said, his tone curt. He already felt like he was dealing with someone who shouldn't be on the road. "And sir," he added, a hint of sarcasm creeping into his voice, "do you know why I pulled you over?" He was already formulating the lecture he was going to give about safe driving and respecting the speed limit. Mr. Thompson fumbled with his wallet, his hands a little shaky. I don't believe so, officer. I was just on my way to the bakery." Miller chuckled, a sound that wasn't at all friendly. "The bakery, who?" "Well, maybe you should stick to walking. This isn't exactly a race car you're driving here. More like a museum piece." He gestured around the interior of the Bel Air. "Nice car for its age, I guess. But are you sure you're still up to handling something like this? Maybe it's time to hang up the keys, Grandpa." He smirked, pleased with his own wit. Mr. Thompson's face tightened slightly, but he didn't rise to the bait. He simply handed over his license and registration. "I assure you, officer," he said calmly, "I'm perfectly capable of driving. I've been driving longer than you've been alive." His voice remained even, without a hint of anger. He wouldn't give this young man the satisfaction of seeing him upset. He'd learned long ago that some battles weren't worth fighting. Sometimes, a quiet dignity was the most powerful response. He just hoped the officer would finish whatever he needed to do soon. The donut was calling his name. As he walked back to his patrol car to run the information, Officer Miller noticed the license plate frame. It was a simple design, but the words U.S. Army Veteran were clearly displayed. He paused for a moment, a flicker of something akin to guilt passing through him. But he quickly dismissed it. Probably just some old guy who sat at a desk, he muttered to himself. It didn't change the fact that Mr. Thompson was driving too slowly and, in Miller's opinion, shouldn't be behind the wheel at all. He continued to his car, his earlier arrogance returning full force. He still had a point to prove. Back in his patrol car, Officer Miller keyed the microphone. "Dispatch, I need a check on a Thompson, Harold. Date of birth is..." He read off the information from the license. A few seconds of silence followed, then the dispatcher's voice crackled over the radio. "Officer Miller, that's a Harold Thompson, born date. He has a distinguished service record. Purple Heart, Silver Star, Bronze Star with Valor. Numerous commendations for bravery in action. The dispatcher paused, then added, "He's a highly decorated veteran of the Korean War, officer. Handle with respect." The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of Officer Miller's own misjudgment. His face flushed crimson. The arrogance that had been so prominent just moments before evaporated, replaced by a gnawing sense of shame. He thought of the mocking words he had spoken, the condescending tone he had used. He pictured Mr. Thompson's quiet dignity, his refusal to be baited. He suddenly felt incredibly small, insignificant. This wasn't just some old guy, this was a hero, a man who had risked his life for his country. And Miller had treated him with utter disrespect. The commendation he'd been dreaming of now seemed a distant, hollow fantasy. He took a deep breath and walked back to Mr. Thompson's car, his shoulders slumped. He removed his sunglasses, hoping to appear less intimidating. "Mr. Thompson," he began, his voice sincere and filled with regret. "I owe you a huge apology. I was completely out of line. I made some assumptions about you based on your age, and I was incredibly disrespectful. I had no right to speak to you that way. I understand you're a veteran, and I want to thank you for your service. I was wrong, and I'm truly sorry." He looked Mr. Thompson directly in the eye, hoping the older man could see the sincerity in his apology. A gentle smile spread across Mr. Thompson's face. He had seen the young officer's initial arrogance, but he had also witnessed the genuine remorse in his eyes. "Apology accepted, son," he said kindly. "We all make mistakes. It's how we learn from them that matters. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just remember to treat everyone with respect, no matter their age or what they look like. A little kindness can go a long way." He paused, then chuckled softly. "Now, about that donut." Remembering the initial reason for the stop, Officer Miller said, "Actually, Mr. Thompson, I did notice your taillight is out. Do you mind if I take a quick look?" Mr. Thompson nodded. Miller quickly grabbed a spare bulb from his patrol car and replaced the faulty one. "There you go, all fixed." As he worked, he asked, "If you don't mind me asking, sir, what was it like serving in Korea?" Mr. Thompson shared a brief, poignant story about his time in the war, a story of bravery and sacrifice. Officer Miller listened intently, a newfound respect filling his heart. This was no old guy who sat at a desk. This was a hero. As Officer Miller drove away, the setting sun glinting off his patrol car, he replayed the events of the last hour in his mind. The arrogance, the disrespect, the snap judgments, they all felt so wrong now. He understood, truly understood, the importance of respecting everyone, regardless of age or appearance. Mr. Thompson's story had resonated deeply within him. He thought about the sacrifices veterans made, the courage they displayed. He knew he could never take their service for granted again. He made a silent promise to himself to be a better officer, a better person. This was a lesson he wouldn't soon forget. The next day, Officer Miller responded to a call about a noisy party. Instead of immediately issuing a citation, he spoke calmly with the residents, understanding that it was a graduation celebration and working with them to lower the volume. Later, he helped an elderly woman carry her groceries inside, offering a friendly smile and a kind word. He even stopped to help a young boy retrieve his kite from a tree. His interactions were now marked by empathy and patience, a stark contrast to his earlier arrogance. He was learning what it truly meant to serve and protect. He was becoming the officer he had always aspired to be, but for entirely different reasons. Driven by a desire to understand more about the lives of veterans, Officer Miller decided to visit the local Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, post. He felt a little nervous, unsure of how he would be received. He parked his patrol car and walked towards the unassuming building, the sounds of laughter and conversation drifting out from within. He hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath and pushed open the door. The room was filled with veterans of all ages, sharing stories and camaraderie. He felt a wave of humility wash over him. He was about to enter their world, a world he knew so little about. He was immediately greeted by a friendly older man with a twinkle in his eye. "Welcome, son. You new around here?" Miller explained he was a police officer and wanted to learn more about veterans. The man, introducing himself as Bob, led him to a table where a group of veterans were sharing stories. Miller listened intently as they spoke of their experiences, the fear, the camaraderie, the sacrifices, and the lasting impact of their service. Some stories were humorous, others heartbreaking, but all were deeply moving. He heard tales of courage, resilience, and unwavering dedication to their country. Each story chipped away at his preconceived notions. As the evening wore on, Officer Miller began to grasp the immense sacrifices these men and women had made. He learned about the physical and emotional toll of war, the struggles of readjusting to civilian life, and the invisible wounds that many carried with them. He understood that their service extended far beyond the battlefield. He heard about their commitment to their families, their communities, and their unwavering dedication to the values they had sworn to defend. He gained a profound respect for their resilience and their quiet strength. He left the VFW that night a changed man, his perspective forever altered. A few weeks later, Harmony Creek held its annual Veterans Day celebration in the town square. Officer Miller, now a regular visitor at the VFW, volunteered to help with security. As he patrolled the perimeter, he spotted a familiar figure standing near the stage. It was Mr. Thompson, looking dapper in his army uniform. A wave of warmth washed over Miller. He knew he had to go over and say hello. This was more than just a chance encounter, it felt like fate. He hoped Mr. Thompson wouldn't mind seeing him again. "Mr. Thompson!" Officer Miller called out, approaching him with a genuine smile. Mr. Thompson turned, his eyes widening in recognition. "Officer Miller, isn't it? Good to see you again, son." They shook hands warmly. The initial awkwardness had completely vanished, replaced by a comfortable familiarity. They chatted about the celebration, about Mr. Thompson's service, and about Officer Miller's newfound appreciation for veterans. A spark of friendship had ignited between them, fueled by mutual respect and a shared understanding of the importance of service and sacrifice. It was the beginning of an unlikely, but meaningful, bond. Over the following months, Mr. Thompson became a mentor to Officer Miller. They met regularly for coffee, sharing stories and insights. Mr. Thompson, with his vast life experience and unwavering moral compass, offered guidance on everything from handling difficult situations on the job to navigating the complexities of life. He shared stories from his time in the military, lessons he had learned about leadership, courage, and the importance of treating everyone with respect. Officer Miller listened intently, absorbing every word. He valued Mr. Thompson's wisdom and considered him a true friend and a role model. Under Mr. Thompson's guidance, Officer Miller blossomed. He became known throughout Harmony Creek not just as a police officer, but as a caring member of the community. He approached every situation with empathy and understanding, always striving to find peaceful resolutions. He was more patient, more compassionate, and more effective in his role. He learned to listen more than he spoke, to understand before he judged, and to treat everyone with the dignity and respect they deserved. He was no longer driven by a need for recognition, but by a genuine desire to serve and protect. He was becoming the best version of himself. Wanting to show his appreciation for the veterans in Harmony Creek, Officer Miller spearheaded the organization of a community event to honor them. He worked tirelessly with the VFW, local businesses, and town residents to create a memorable and meaningful celebration. The event featured live music, food vendors, displays of military memorabilia, and heartfelt speeches from local dignitaries and veterans themselves. Officer Miller wanted to ensure that every veteran in attendance felt seen, appreciated, and honored for their service and sacrifice. It was his way of giving back to the community and showing his gratitude for the lessons he had learned. During the event, Officer Miller made sure to give Mr. Thompson a special honor. He shared Mr. Thompson's story with the crowd, highlighting his bravery and sacrifice during the Korean War. The crowd erupted in applause, showering Mr. Thompson with the recognition he so richly deserved. He had always been a quiet, unassuming man, but now, he was a local hero, a symbol of courage and service. Mr. Thompson, humbled by the attention, simply smiled and waved, his heart filled with gratitude. He was finally receiving the appreciation he had never sought, but always deserved. The story of Officer Miller and Mr. Thompson became a powerful reminder of how respect and understanding can be passed down from one generation to another. Officer Miller, once blinded by arrogance and prejudice, learned a valuable lesson from Mr. Thompson's quiet dignity and unwavering service. He, in turn, used that lesson to become a better officer and a better person, demonstrating to others the importance of empathy, compassion, and honoring those who have served their country. It was a cycle of respect, a ripple effect of kindness and understanding that spread throughout Harmony Creek. Officer Miller's career flourished. He received numerous commendations, not for writing tickets or making arrests, but for his community outreach efforts, his compassionate approach to policing, and his ability to connect with people from all walks of life. He became a role model for other officers, demonstrating the power of empathy and understanding in law enforcement. He was eventually promoted to sergeant, a position he used to further promote his message of respect and community engagement. His success was a testament to the transformative power of kindness and the importance of learning from our mistakes. He was now the officer he had always wanted to be, but so much more. Years later, as Sergeant Miller reflected on his career, he often thought about Mr. Thompson and the profound impact their encounter had on his life. He realized that true strength wasn't about authority or power, but about empathy, understanding, and respect. He understood the importance of honoring the sacrifices of veterans and treating everyone with the dignity they deserved. Mr. Thompson's forgiveness and mentorship had transformed him from an arrogant rookie into a compassionate leader, a true servant of his community. And it all started with a traffic stop and a lesson learned: never judge a book by its cover, especially when that book is a decorated veteran.